OK, we'll see what happens in this second half. Let's join, once again, Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
Now then, Andy Cole. 5 games without a goal. They would dearly love him to end that spell now, wouldn't they? And if he didn't, just wonder how long it might be before we see Paul Scholes on the field. Having said that, in those 5 games, his striking partner, if we can call him that, Eric Cantona, has scored in all of them. And I was just thinking, looking at that review of the Premiership, Trevor, the overseas players making headlines all over the place now, aren't they? Hullet here today, Churchic, Kinkladze, Kanchelskis, Amakachi. They've really brought a breath of fresh air and some entertainment to our game in this last couple of years.
Well, I think it's just upgraded the quality of the technique, haven't they? Have just made us all aware how important the skill factor is. I mean, we got, I think, obsessed in the late 80s with that athleticism and the running ability of people, but unless you can pass from A to B, it's not a lot of good. And definitely, I think the skill level has been exceptional the last couple of years, and that's why we're looking so forward for Euro 96, isn't it?
Well, indeed, and some of the matches will be played here, and Peter Schmeichel will be playing for Denmark in that tournament. The news of Steve Clarke of Chelsea, incidentally, who had to go off, is that he sprained an ankle. So they will resume with Dewberry in the wide right position and Erland Johnsen in the centre. And referee Stephen Lodge starts the second half. Manchester United, the team aiming to reach the FA Cup final for the 3rd year running, and again pursuing the double, are a goal behind. But then again, remember that semi-final of 2 years ago against Oldham? They were still behind in stoppage time, as I recall, at Wembley. And we would have extra time today, incidentally, in the event of the game being level after 90 minutes. Here's Keane. This is Beckham. Now, Gary Neville. Oh, there's some good running by Sharp. There he ran off Ruud Hullet. He didn't go with him, and it's Craig Burley who's forced to make the fully stretched clearance. Sharp just got away for a moment there. He's found Giggs. Sharp again. And the cross comes towards Cole and Beckham, but really hitched a ride, the goalkeeper, as befits his name, on this Chelsea Cup train. He got in just after the injury to Karine, and as I said earlier, he's been one of their most consistent performers, Kevin Hitchcock. Mention too might be appropriate of Eddie Newton, who had a hand in the early Chelsea Cup games but is out for the season. Gary Neville on Mark Hughes. But it's Manchester United perhaps whose absentee made the most news today. Steve Bruce, a spectator, and in his absence the team are 1 down. That's taken by Wise. And now Giggs, who picks up those throws from Schmeichel and is already in the Chelsea half. Dewberry's a couple of yards behind him, trying to make up the ground now, but Giggs is getting there. Andy Myers a header out.
I don't think the excitement's going to lessen, is it? Because Manchester have to chase it. They've got to do it balanced. Mustn't just charge forward recklessly. But Philip Neville and Lee Sharp, the 2 fullbacks, do like to get forward. And then it's a case of Chelsea not sitting back too much, as Jimmy and Alan said at half-time.
Here is Philip Neville. Referee has allowed play to continue. United have possession. That's Beckham. That was a late challenge by Andy Myers. And that's going to be the first yellow card of the semi-final. Diving in a bit.
I don't think Andy Myers can argue with that. He is questioning it, but it was a reckless challenge. Took the feet of Beckham, quite rightly a yellow card, just to make sure nothing gets out of hand.
David May is up for the free kick on the far side. Keane is in there too. And Giggs, the left footer. Terry Phelan not 10 yards. Beckham is with Giggs. That was Giggs, but a good view of it for the goalkeeper. Saw it all the way.
It was tame, wasn't it? Is this a cross or a shot? Neither in the end, because it's too close to the goalkeeper for a cross, and no, not enough power for the shot. So thanks very much, says the goalie. Craig Burley, of course, just got in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? Taken over that role. You mentioned Eddie Newton doing such a good job. Nigel Spackman has filled in on occasions, but it's Craig Burley now doing his international chances no harm.
Oh, Terry Phelan's pulled up. He that his chances no good there. He was latching on to a through pass, or about to, when in mid-stride he suddenly pulled up lame, and Chelsea look as though they're going to have their second injury to a defender.
Well, the two flank players always have to do a lot of running. Now, I mentioned they've got to get forward and make the width. There he is, Terry Phelan, and look, it's just an immediate tear, isn't it? And there's no way that he will continue. You don't run that sort of injury often. That is a problem. Certainly, you've got Myers who could go across the left back, but it means Gavin Peacock, who's an attacking player, is going to come on, and somebody from midfield, probably Craig Burley, will have to go into one of those defensive areas to keep the same shape. Glenn Hoddle won't want to change the system, but it is disruptive to lose two players now, Clark and Phelan, because I can't see Phelan continuing.
Dennis Wise, the captain, is going across to have a word with Glenn Hoddle about the reorganisation. Phelan's in a bad way, so Manchester United went into the match without three first-choice defenders. Chelsea have lost two during the game. And again, reorganisation here. Peter Shreves had the piece of paper out, presumably talking about marking responsibilities, among other things, because Phelan is off. And Chelsea's pattern disrupted for the second time. What can Manchester United make of it while they're still reorganising? This is Neville, Gary Neville with the forward pass. Peacock still waiting to make his appearance, but in the meantime that's going to be another yellow card. It was Dewberry who was brought down. And Roy Keane is getting himself into more trouble. When he brought him down, I think he hurt himself more than he hurt Dewberry. Giggs makes the first challenge there. Now watch Keane.
He's just got his left knee in his own thigh and knee, and you wouldn't like to meet the force of Michael Dewberry. So a bit of what we would term a dead leg there, but Terry Phelan coming on. Well, that does surprise me, because if he's pulled up as sharp as that, he's got to be a muscle tear at the top of his right thigh, and as soon as he stretches out, I would have thought it's going to cause him problems.
Here's Hullett causing Manchester United problems. Well, Clark had a little spell back on, didn't he, before he finally had to give up, so maybe they're going to try Phelan. Well, they are. This is Giggs. Now Keane. Well, there is some concern over there now as to whether he really should be carrying on. But sometimes in the heat of the action you have to take a gamble. Hoddle and Banks there on the line were debating, I think, just what they're going to do about Phelan. Manager and physio. This is Phil Neville, and while Chelsea are to a certain degree disrupted, you'd think Manchester United might find this the moment to force the issue. This is Butt. Now it's Phil Neville, and Myers is the defender chasing him. Cantona and Wise, and Cantona's gone down hurt, grimacing with pain and rolling on the ground. Giggs, he's up again now though, the Frenchman, because Manchester United have chances here. It's Giggs with the cross, but it's gone behind his colleagues. Back in again to Keane. And that was Phelan. Well, Hughes, Hullet running on ahead of him. Sharp. This is an anxious 5 minutes for Chelsea. It's still Sharp, but the tackle was clean by Burley. Cole won it back. Good edge to the game now. Butt to Cantona. May. Phil Neville. That was Butt looking for Beckham. Chelsea haven't had the ball for quite some time. This is Neville. Four waiting in the centre for a cross from him. Andy Cole's coming in. Cantona is there. Oh, and Andy Cole takes the foot out. And Manchester United are level. Cantona and Cole. And Chelsea were unable to survive that anxious few minutes which emanated from the Phelan injury. They couldn't get the ball back. And Eric Cantona's setup just left Andy Cole to make sure. This is Phil Neville who tricks his way round. There are four waiting for the cross. Cole goes in first, off the Chelsea head. Cantona heads it back, and Cole, I would imagine, will claim that, although was it already over the line?
I think it's Andy Cole's goal. Whether he nudged Erland Johnson at the near post for the original cross would be another debatable point. Philip Neville did excellent though, didn't he, down the right-hand side, just enticed John Spencer in. Spencer slipped, and that set up the chance.
Hughes for Chelsea here. Well, 10 minutes gone in the second half. And Manchester United make their statement. A good piece of play by the fullback, 19-year-old Phil Neville. Beat his man, looked up, picked out a target, who initially was Cole. It went on to Cantona, back across the goalkeeper, and Cole just pokes out a foot. Try taking that one away from him in his present state of mind.
Yeah, Philip Neville did accept it, but actually the cross just clipped the defender, didn't he, and hung up in the air, and that took it just above Johnson. He couldn't get the best of headers. I still think Cole might have nudged him in the back. It went to Cantona. This is offside, so don't worry about that. And then a very subtle header from Cantona, because he could have gone from the near post. This is it here, goes past Spencer, and as he actually clips it up, you'll see Johnson just get underneath it. Does Cole nudge him in the back there? Cantona back across the goal, and Andy Cole follows up, and it's definitely his. It wasn't over the line before it went in the net.
Well, if there was a doubt about the Chelsea goal because of the way Hughes muscled his way past a defender, then I suppose that rather evens it up if you feel there was a little bit of a question mark against Cole's initial challenge. Anyway, the facts of the matter are there on the screen. It's 1-1 in the semi-final. Manchester United right back in it. Here's Nicky Butt. Keane. Cantona. He would have had a hand in it, wouldn't he? And now he's found Cole. And this is Neville. And Butt. This is the best spell of the match for Manchester United. Giggs is in there. And Keane. And Alex Ferguson, who's never lost a semi-final with Manchester United, sees his team move this one round in the opening few minutes of the second half.
Well, they've done well, haven't they, since the restart? Just carried on as they started the match, and Glenn Hoddle's got the problems now. You can see him thinking he's had to take two players off. He's shuffled the system round a little bit, but they haven't got men forward, have they, in this second half? And that little bit of pressure that Manchester put on them got them the equaliser.
And they must still be concerned, I would think, about Phelan. He's still on the field, even though it looked as though he was going to be substituted, and he was not to blame in any way for the goal, I hasten to add, but it's a concern for Chelsea, having already had Clark taken off. Here's Hughes.
Yeah, I think the problem is that Phelan isn't going to get forward now, and you need the width, you know, when you've got sort of in that system.
Oh, look at this, David Beckham for Manchester United, clean through, and they're in front. Burley holds his head in dismay, because that mistake, which the goalkeeper had no chance of retrieving, has given Manchester United the lead for the first time. And David Beckham, the 20-year-old who wasn't playing until it was announced that Steve Bruce was unfit, has scored a goal that he'll always remember. This is Craig Burley, and quite what he was doing there, I'm not entirely sure. David Beckham latched onto it, there was no cover really, and he slid the shot across Hitchcock, and Manchester United, from one goal behind, have scored twice in 4 minutes to make it 2-1. Trevor.
Well, look at Terry Phelan. He should have tracked back. I know it's a bad back pass and it's an individual error, but Phelan, a fit Phelan, would have gone back with Beckham and would have retrieved perhaps and got back with a saving tackle. He can't run as fast as he should do, and that's why I think the substitution should have been made. But it's often left to the player, and the player has said, I'm okay, but I think it has definitely distracted and affected the balance of the Chelsea side.
It certainly changed the balance of the match. As of 2 years ago at Wembley, Chelsea's first half, but it's looking like Manchester United's second. We've been playing for an hour, and the whole picture has changed. Here's Ryan Giggs. Well, this Littlewood-sponsored FA Cup competition has not disappointed us this season from the moment it started, and the semi-final looks to have all the ingredients of a game to remember now. Burley pumps it forward for Hullet, and he's got away from David May, and Schmeichel makes the save. Here's Spencer on the follow-up for Chelsea. Oh, headed away by Cantona, is that? Goodness gracious, Eric Cantona on the goal line. Otherwise it was 2-2. I had to look twice there to make sure that it was the Manchester United captain. I don't know if there's anything that he and Hullet don't do. Here come United again. Andy Cole waiting in the centre. Sharp and Giggs combining again. This is Nicky Butt. Well, don't take your eyes off it, because there's something going on here all the time. Hullet, who nearly made it 2-2 with his second of the match, is away on the left, and it's a foul on Spencer by Keane, who's already been booked, remember.
Yeah, Hullet is almost up as a second striker with Hughes. Great double save by Manchester. First of all, Schmeichel, when Hullet broke clear from May, and then, of course, Spencer's shot, and as you say, headed off the line by Eric Cantona. I don't know what on earth he was doing back there, but Manchester quite pleased he was.
This is Phelan, trying to find Hullet again. Oh, that's a foul by Dennis Wise, but the referee sees no need to deliver anything more than the free kick. Now then, Hullet got away from David May here. Schmeichel made the initial save. Now as it comes out to John Spencer, there's Cantona, number 7. Well, now there's some arguments going on back here. The referee's in the middle of a melee of Manchester United players involving Dennis Wise, and he just needs to calm it down a bit.